Last Sunday, those of you who were here at this Mass, I told you about a wedding I'd been to recently. Well, yesterday I had another wedding, so just a little thought to share from that, and you'll see why. A beautiful wedding. It wasn't two students this time, it was some dear friends of mine. And then in the traditional speeches after the wedding, the father of the bride gave a speech. And he said a very sweet thing. He said, looking down at the man who had just married his dear daughter, he said, "When I first met you, when you came round to our house, I didn't know you from Adam. I didn't know anything about you, who you were, where you were from, your background. But I could see very, very clearly that you were a man who knew how lucky you were to have found my daughter, and how lucky you were to be loved by her." And he said, that was enough for me. Very sweet, very touching. Yeah, I don't know everything about you, but the daughter that I have loved for so long, I can see not just that you love her, but you appreciate her. You know who she is, and you know how blessed you are to have found her and to be loved by her. And actually that word, an English word that's very interesting, to appreciate, we use it a bit casually. Oh, I appreciate this, I like it, I enjoy it. But to appreciate, it actually comes from the word price, value, worth. The Italian, apprezzare, to know the price of something, the worth, the true value of something. This is what it means to appreciate something. And I say this because it connects with all of the scripture readings today, all of which are about how much do we appreciate the gift of faith that has been given us. And in fact, do we appreciate this gift? This is the words of St. Paul to Timothy, speaking about Timothy's special ministry, but in fact speaking to all of us as Christian disciples. St. Paul says, "You have been trusted to look after something precious. Guard it with the help of the Holy Spirit who lives in you." You have been trusted to look after something precious. Your faith, your vocation. Are we aware of the preciousness, the gift of faith that's been given to us? Look, we're all in very different places, each one of us here. And in fact, any one of us, myself, can be in a different place in my faith depending on what time of day it is and what day of the week it is. Some of you maybe are on fire with faith, full of zeal and passion and enthusiasm. There was a dozen students wearing these ghastly yellow T-shirts advertising Newman House, walking up and down the streets, handing out postcards, evangelising, talking about Jesus this afternoon. Yes, it's not for everyone, but enough students full of faith and passion and out there on the streets today, full of zeal. For other students, for some of you maybe, the faith, it feels more like something that you've inherited. Maybe literally, it was given to you by your parents, your grandparents, your culture, your parish. And it feels maybe like an inheritance, a deed, a title that has been given to you, but you haven't quite, to use the phrase, come into your inheritance. It's there, you know it's yours, but it hasn't quite become personal yet. I was baptised when I was 8 weeks old, like many of you. I don't remember it, I didn't choose it, I'm grateful, but it was inherited. I don't even have the photos, sadly. Mum and Dad can't find any, but I've got a baptismal certificate, a Bible from my grandfather, and a tiny silver cup. Because this was an English tradition, I don't know if it's true in other countries, of giving little silver cups at your baptism. So I've had to come into that inheritance over time and make it my own. For other people, faith is there. You know it's important with the head, but it's a bit like a gift that hasn't been unwrapped. It's a box there, sitting in the corner with the lid still on it. You know it's important. You treasure it, you value it, but it's closed. Stupid examples of this, yes. I'm forever coming into the house, walking past reception and forgetting that I've got a pigeonhole with my post waiting, and the receptionist getting more and more irate. Father Stephen, there's a few bags here waiting for you, piling up. I walk past and I don't know what's there, and I forget to open it and I forget to ask, but there's always something waiting there for me, and often it's very important. A gift that isn't opened. And sometimes, maybe this is you, faith can be something that has been very real, has been very alive, but for whatever reason, at the moment, it just feels a bit dark or distant. And maybe prayer is difficult, and maybe you're full of questions, and they've never been answered, or you've never asked them to anyone properly. And you can't find the answers, or you can't find the way forward. You're feeling a bit stuck. You're even thinking, what am I doing here? Maybe this is the last time I'm here. Yeah. Full of passion and zeal. What am I doing here? And everything in between. This is the rich tapestry of faith, and there's probably many more flavours of faith in this church this evening and in your heart in any 1 week or month. And we are exactly where the apostles were. The apostles, a complete mixed bag of people like you and I, and they are on the road with Jesus with all these differences of faith, all these questions, and they say to Jesus in the gospel today, very simple, increase our faith. Increase our faith. Make it bigger, stronger, more powerful. And Jesus gives the unexpected answer. I'll read it out. It's so short. Lord, increase our faith. What's his answer? Were your faith the size of a mustard seed, you could say to this mulberry tree, be uprooted and planted in the sea, and it would obey you. In other words, this is my own language now. When the apostles say to Jesus, we need more faith, we need to be stronger and more powerful and holier and bigger and better, and he says, no, you don't need a bigger faith. The tiny faith that you already have, you just need that to be more real and more sincere and more true and alive for you. You don't need a big faith. You don't need fireworks. You just need the tiniest amount of faith. And if that faith is real and alive for you, it will change everything. It will transform your life. It will allow you to work miracles. Why the mulberry tree? Because the mulberry tree is the tree with the deepest roots. It's the hardest one to lift out of the ground, let alone plant into the sea. You don't need a bigger faith. You need a faith that's more real and more alive. It might be very, very, very small, but it's enough. It is enough. It's not the answer they were expecting, and it's maybe not the answer you were expecting. Yes, you're looking around maybe thinking, oh, the holy people, the pious people, the saints. I'm just the ordinary one. My faith is not very strong. I'm just here. I'm just slipping in quietly and slipping out quietly. I'm not for drama and heroics. But the faith that God has given you, through your family, your church, your culture, through the quiet, humble choices that you've made to keep living your faith. That faith is so precious, as St. Paul says, and so important for you and so important for others. If only you could appreciate and live it more. So, the message, I guess, of the gospel for us at the beginning of the academic year. Don't worry, it's not to do all this in one go. It's not to do all this tonight. It's just to say to yourself, Lord, help me to live and appreciate my Christian, my Catholic faith more this year, this academic year. You've given me the gift of this year. You've given me so many blessings and so many opportunities. Let the opportunity of growing in my faith and appreciating it more be at the centre of this year and not just pushed aside or forgotten about. And look, this doesn't mean your journey of faith is everything and all-encompassing, meaning you're completely obsessed with it and you do nothing else with your life. Yeah, there's lots of gifts and blessings for you this year. Your studies, your friendships, your societies that you've joined, your work for many of you, life. Yeah, there's lots going on in your life, and that's a great blessing. But that one part of your life this year would be your faith. I mean, you've done it already. You're here at Mass. What a gift to have somewhere to pray and to worship, and that you've managed to make the time. But over these weeks and months, you would be growing in your faith. You would be deepening your prayer. You would be taking small opportunities to learn about your faith and to grow in friendship with others, so that you're not just standing still, holding on, but you're actually going deeper. And to get to the end of the year and look back and think, yes, I have been blessed and I've gone deeper and I appreciate this amazing gift of faith that has been given to me. To finish with this wedding yesterday. So I was the preacher, and one of the points I made in the sermon, I went back to a very old-fashioned phrase. I talked about the wedding consent. The consent that the couple makes. And look, this is a bit old-fashioned. Some people would say it's a bit legalistic. Isn't marriage about love and beauty and feelings, and it's about all those things. But what makes the marriage? What makes the marriage? It's not the dress. It's not the music, the Vivaldi's Gloria that sang out from the choir loft yesterday morning. It's not the champagne afterwards. It's not the 200 guests there. It's not the priest. It's not even the wedding rings. What makes the wedding? Theologically and legally, interestingly, it is the marriage consent. And all that word means is the yes that the couple give to each other. The husband to wife, the wife to her husband. That's all. Yes. I say yes to you. I give my life to you. I say an unconditional yes, not just for today, but for the rest of my life, to you and to you alone. I consent. I say yes. The yes of marriage in the heart is very, very similar to the yes of faith that we make to the Lord and to his church. The creed that we say. Now, it's a bit more than one word. I don't know how many 100 words it is. But the creed, all it is you and I saying to the Lord, yes, I believe. My faith is very small. It's very weak. It's a flickering flame. But still, I say yes. And if we can say that yes tonight and for the rest of this academic year and for the rest of our lives, of course, God will bless us abundantly.